There we go. Welcome to this episode of JAGcast. We're here with
Dave Cooley of Blue Springs South High School.
And what do you do here, David?
I teach in the business departments, which I have for, 20-some years now. And way back when, I coached cross-country and track, but I haven't done that since 2011. And then, as you know, I've become the voice of the Jaguars over the years and do announcing at football, volleyball primarily in the fall, basketball in the winter, but track meets, soccer games, a lot of other stuff in between as well.
So why did you want to become like a personal finance teacher or just like in the business department?
Well, I don't know that I wanted to become a personal finance teacher. Certainly was not my plan originally, but I kind of went to college with a number of different ideas and majors and kind of just did general business for a while and then looked at, the credits and it lined up and I thought I wanted to coach at the time. And so I was looking about, 2 years into my college experience and like, okay, I've got a lot of credits that could go towards this business education degree. So just kind of the credits that I had from being a business major kind of got me on the track of business education as opposed to history or science or math or anything like that. And then specifically, personal finance, it was a matter of my first 3 or 4 years here, I taught 5 different classes and from computer programming to typing, business law, lots of different stuff at the time. And so the principal at the time said, hey, there's going to be this new state-required personal finance class. Would you be interested in teaching it? And my response pretty much was, well, would that mean I wouldn't have to teach as many other classes? And he's like, well, that's all you would do. And I said, sure, sign me up. So it was more like, there's one class that I can focus on and hopefully do it well. So that's really what, got me on the personal finance train was the ability to not have to be teaching a multitude of different things that had nothing to do with each other. And I felt like I was never prepared for.
Yeah.
So.
Well, with that, what are some ways you would recommend high school students can start being financially smart with their money?
Well, just keep it simple. Make more money than you spend, obviously. And as far as saving, my challenge that I issue in class is just try to save $1 a day, assuming that you have any type of income, whether it's allowance or you babysit or you mow your neighbor's grass or you've got a part-time job. Can you save $1 a day, which is basically $30 a month? Try that for a month, and if that seemed easy, well then try $2 a day the next month. See if you can save $60 by the second month. If that seemed easy, make your way up to $3, $4, $5 a day, to where hopefully you're eventually, after about 6 months, setting aside about $200 a month. And if you can get in that habit as a teenager or a 20-something, that's pretty much all you ever need to do. And then you'll have to get more aggressive with where you're putting that money. But if you can just get the idea of having a little bit more, ending the day with a little bit more than what you started with, that's all you really need to do.
Mm-hmm. So we all are going different paths, obviously, after high school. Do you think college is worth the time and money?
I think that very much depends. I certainly don't think it is a given or a mandatory or you're not going to be any good to society or to yourself or financially if you don't go to college. I think there's a lot of options that are available to people, especially in this day and age, that maybe were not available to previous generations. But there's a lot of notable, worthy, and well-paying professions that don't require necessarily a traditional college degree. I know sometimes academics are disappointed to hear that. Sometimes students are disappointed to hear that because, they want the college experience. But there's a lot of things that you can do just within a few months of graduating from high school with, training, of course, additional training, but where you start making money a lot sooner than the traditional college path, which of course you're spending money and or going into debt for a number of years and then digging your way out of that to where, if you go a less educational route, so to speak, or a less traditional college route, then you can turn spending money into making money much sooner.
So when you were coming out of high school, did you ever think you could have gone a different route than you did?
Oh, sure. I mean, I didn't even know what route that I was going to kind of when I did. I officially started college as a hotel and restaurant administration major. I thought that I wanted to move to Las Vegas and get into, the casino industry. I even toured the UNLV campus and the Hera School of Hotel Administration and, thought that's what I wanted to do. And it was going to be expensive expensive for me to go to UNLV, out of state, all that type of thing. So I thought I'll go down to CMSU, UCM now, because they had a hospitality management program. Started that, talked to some people, realized I was going to have to learn how to cook. And to do that, I was going to have to take chemistry, which was a prerequisite for the cooking classes, ironically enough. So that, among other things, and then just, talking to some people in the industry that's like, the hospitality is a bottom-up industry. Like, you're going to change sheets and clean toilets for a long time before you make your way up to the executive level. So I decided it wasn't for me. Was briefly an aviation major, and if I had to go back and choose something, that's probably what I would have stuck with. I don't regret what I'm doing, but if I had to choose something else, I probably would have stuck with aviation. But my issue at the time is it's very expensive. You not only have the normal degree expenses of tuition, room and board, but then you've got to pay for all your flight time and fuel and all that. And I've got several friends, from that point of my educational career that are still in aviation, are doing quite well, but initially they did have to get over that hump of debt that they had, because certainly an aviation degree is something that's very expensive and probably going to involve borrowing money. With what I did, I never borrowed money to go to school. So.
Well, was there ever a time where you were in a bad financial situation, and how did you get out of it?
Oh, let's see, a bad financial situation. Well, I guess when I was younger, much like, young people still that I have in class, it's more about the sexiness of investing. Nobody gets excited about, I'm putting, $50 a month into a nice, boring S&P 500 fund that puts my money into 500 different places. It's especially now, it's like, I want to get into crypto, or I want to get into, this or that. So kind of the version of that at my age was, I wanted to look at the newspaper every day and see how my individual stock was doing. So I bought this, my first $5,000 I ever invested, I bought a stock called Spyglass Incorporated, and at the time they were on the end of this. It was a program. The internet was relatively new, and it was a software, a system that allowed you to use the internet on your TV set. Like, you didn't have to have a computer. You could get this little cable box looking thing, and you could put it on your TV, and you could get the internet and get a keyboard, and you could get the internet on your TV, basically. And so obviously that technology never became all that prevalent, and I had a chance to sell the company at a decent gain, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to really make a lot of money on it. Well, I ended up selling them for I think about half of what I had into it. So my initial first investment, it could have gone well, but I was proud and wanted to do even better, and it ended up costing me in the end. So I guess not necessarily a bad financial situation, but one that I could have done better. And the longer I've been doing this, and the older I get myself, the more boring you can keep your investments, really, the better off you are in the long run. So you just, you do some nice stable saving and investing. If you want to play around with some extra money in crypto or individual stocks or whatever, then fine, but don't let that sacrifice your bread and butter investing.
Yeah, I know you've said a lot about not investing a bunch into one, but spreading out your investments.
Yeah, diversification is what that's called, to put it a fancy way. And that, if you're a kid going, trick-or-treating, and I don't know, maybe you have a favorite candy, but if you come back with, all M&Ms, that's not a very diverse, trick-or-treat bag, and you kind of get bored of the M&Ms. And if the M&Ms factory happened to, have a E. coli breakout or something, I don't know if that's possible, but then, you got to throw all your Halloween candy away. But if you've got some M&Ms and some Skittles and some Snickers bars and some Three Musketeers, you've got a more diverse, treat bag. So, so spreading out your money, which is what the S&P 500 does for you automatically. So you just get yourself a fund that, puts your money 500 different places on your behalf. That keeps it easy, and it provides for what you would call automatic diversification.
Well, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you for being on, Mr. Cooley.
Well, sure. It's been my pleasure. I'm glad some people care about what I have to say.
I'm sure they will take this advice.
They will take this advice.
They're going to need it when they start going off to college and have all these bills to pay and
loans,
tuition,
all that.
living on their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe some people will come back and talk to you.
That does happen. I leave it up to you when you walk out my door. Maybe it's the last time we ever communicate. Maybe it's not. But I certainly am willing to communicate with former students whenever they call on me.
Alrighty.
All right.
That's the end of this JAGcast.